Okay, so anybody following my channel will know that I'm a big fan of dash cams, and in particular this particular model here called the G1W. And over the last 2 years or so I've installed 3 of these cameras into different cars, and they are really hard to beat in terms of value. They're you know, for about £30 you can buy something that gives you really high quality footage, and you can capture number plates and you can capture what's really going on. So recently I went on eBay and I found a seller selling a G1W that was actually based in the UK for about £19 or so. And I thought, right, I've got to give this a go, because if I could get a source of a G1W for less than 20 quid with quicker delivery as well, then it would be great. So waited a few days, landed in the post, and I got this device here. This is the one that I have been using in my car for the last year and a half, I think, for this particular one, and it has been very reliable. And this is actually one that I got shipped from China, and I paid just over £30 for this one. I think it was actually from GearBest that I bought this one, and this one has been really reliable. Hasn't broken down at all, and has withstood the temperatures of, the really going from really cold to really hot temperatures out in the car, and has been very good. So I wanted to try and find another source of this same dash cam. So what I'll do is I found out then very quickly that this is a fake, and some of the things that I noticed straight away were, when I got it, there didn't seem to be any protective what do you call that thing, like a protective film on the LCD or on the lens here. And as soon as I started to put in the SD card on this side here, I started to notice that there was a really big gap in here. I don't know if you can see it. Hang on, I'll try and show it to you. But basically the area between the case and the SD card slot, there's quite a big gap in there. And the SD card actually had a tendency to try and slide inside the camera. Whereas on the genuine one, the gap is actually much less. I don't know if you can see it there, but it's a lot harder to make the SD card fit inside the camera. So it's the slot for the SD card is actually slightly more towards this side of the camera. So straight off, that was an alarm bell. I decided just to try it anyway and try and get it running. So alright, it must be completely dead here. The battery must be completely dead in it. So I let it run in the car for just a few seconds just to try and collect some footage, and then I did the same in the same position for my original G1W just to show you what the differences are. And the difference in quality is ridiculous. I mean, for the extra £10 or whatever you're going to have to spend to get the genuine one, the difference in footage really is twice as good. And when it comes down to it, I mean, you want to be able to see number plates. If you can't see number plates and you can't see what's going on, then your dashcam footage is worthless. So it's just worth buying something that works. Something like this, it will work, but it's just not of the quality that's actually usable. So I'll show you the difference in footage now. Right, so the video editing software that I have is struggling with the AVI format of the fake camera. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some screenshots of the video and just try and compare those instead. So the fake camera here is a very overexposed and blown out image. There's very little detail in the sky, and the image is very noisy. There isn't much detail from the wood grain in this gate. And also the timestamps on the left hand side of the image there in the bottom left. And we'll switch to the real camera now. So this is the real G1W. And you can see that the timestamp is in the bottom right, and there's actually quite a lot of detail in the sky, and there's far more detail in the wood grain. So we'll just switch back for comparison now again to the fake one, just to show you the difference again. So really this image is just not as good as the real G1W, and it's worth paying that extra £10 for that extra detail. So the other big difference between a real and a fake G1W is the file format that the camera is outputting. So the fake camera outputs into the .avi file format, whereas the real one outputs to a .mov. And the other hint here as well is that the real camera creates a subfolder, whereas the fake camera does not create the subfolder, so it just puts the file directly into the DCAM folder on your SD card. Okay, so just when I thought I was finished finding fault with this thing, I just plugged it into a 1 amp wall charger. And listen to the sound it's making. It's just squealing. Such a piece of junk. And you can see where the LCD hasn't been seated correctly either. It's actually slightly proud of the rest of the case, and because of that you can see into the camera itself there where the light is leaking out. That'd actually be really distracting for a driver as well. So this is going straight back in the post and back to the seller. So this is the seller that I bought my camera off on eBay, called Instatech. So it looks like they've already suckered over 500 people, so just avoid this seller like the plague.